Hey everybody, Matt Michaels here on the DeFalco Files with the owner and creator of FSW, the Future Stars of Wrestling here in Las Vegas, Mr. Joe DeFalco. And Joe, man, this past weekend it was Devil's Night.
Yes, it was. I'm glad I'm able to be on that the faction match finally ended.
Well, a few things going on. First, you talk about the faction. Where does that go from here? I mean, it was a good match, and set up a pretty interesting story.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I have no idea where it's going at this point. As Demir, is it a test? Did Demir do the right thing? Demir did call it down the middle, but he didn't call it down the middle. He went to super kick ice. So
Right.
that again continues to show the immaturity that Ice and Braxton had discussed. Didn't like the way things were going. It was his job to be the referee and call the match. And at the end, yeah, he had to count to three, but he was the reason for the three. So
Right.
who knows if Fresco and Watson now want him in the faction.
Right. Outside of that, championship match for the women's title, Brittany defended it. For a last minute casket match, the casket was interesting, shall we say?
Yeah, the casket maybe wasn't even worth the $60. We had some issues with the closing of the door. We had to have a couple extra refs out there. But hey, those skeletons that you saw on the ramp and things like that was included. So I guess it makes it worth the $60. And we got through the match. It just wasn't in the best shape.
Right. And what does this mean for Gypsy going forward?
I don't know. From what I understand, after talking with her for a little bit, she's going to be taking a little time off and, regroup, I guess you could say.
Sure. And Brittany retains and now gets a little bit of a challenge coming up at Luck of the Draw against Maserati.
Yeah, somebody who's been, I wouldn't say waiting around patiently, but she's been waiting around, and then now comes her time. So, I guess it's a good problem to have when you have so much talent on that roster.
Right.
And you still got Trisha Dora, you got Layla Gray in the wings.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And Zamaya.
Angela. Yeah. A lot of stuff going on with that women's division. Also a new No Limits champion, Jordan Oasis, defeats Dante King. I mean, is that exactly what Jordan was looking for? Is a little respect now?
Well, he's looking for it. He won the match pretty fair and square. There wasn't very much shenanigans, I guess you could say, in the match. And, and Dante has skated by and it finally caught up with him. He's had many close calls, but he managed to hold on to that title for a long time. So you got to give him credit for that. But, Jordan Oasis is, would look to be the worst month of his career,
Right.
is possibly turning into the best month of his career. Now, victorious at Power Slap. He's victorious and wins the championship. There's no scandal like in the UFC at Power Slap yet. So not about, fixed fights.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you see that slap, that was not a those those slaps are not fixed, pulled punches, man. Those are pretty, straight on, so,
Yeah, for sure.
um, I mean, where does that leave, both guys going into, luck of the draw?
Well, it seems like both of those guys are going to be in the Roulette Rumble.
Okay, yeah,
There's only so many spots for matches, and as you saw, we got the Rumble, which proceeds to have the winner of the Rumble wrestle the champion, and so that takes up two matches. Any match for the No Limits or Nevada State is taken up by having Killer Cross on the show. So
right,
that becomes the third match. And then we have the women's match. And after what happened with the Unguided and Pretty City, instead of having them in the Rumble to try to go after each other, we ended up making that match happen.
right,
So surprisingly, there's two tag team matches on the show.
yeah. Yeah, as Transcendence, will be defending, the titles here
Yeah,
again.
thanks to Class and Reno, Transcendence can now say they defeated another former FSW Tag Team Champion.
Right, and, it's gonna be interesting to see if they can survive, both the Suavecitos and, the Mariachis.
Yeah, as we've seen over a while now, the Suavecitos and the Mariachis, they've been going back and forth in their own thing.
Yeah, yeah, and now the belts get thrown in and another tag team gets thrown in, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens.
Will they be able to focus on the tag titles instead of each other
Right,
in that match? And I know the Suavecitos who captured some gold all over, the West Coast recently. They they've been chomping at the bit to get an opportunity to become FSW Tag Team Champions. That's where they got their start. I know that chip on their shoulder, similar to Jordan Oasis, it's very important to them to especially win the championship before the Mariachis do.
sure, yeah.
It's a definite pride thing when it comes to those guys.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Um, Devil's Night, had a battle royal that, had the gimmicks and,
And
I
it
think
delivered as always.
yeah, uh, you know, the fact that, I don't think anyone really saw the, win coming for, Fallen.
Well, I'm pretty sure it would have been a disappointment if, of all the gimmick wrestler characters, Fred Flintstone would have won.
So, what was Luke's, reasoning behind that?
No idea. Because I had messaged him because he's like, oh, yeah, I'll be there for the show. And I'm like, well, there's a spot in the Battle Royal. And being that the first time I met you, I thought you were like a low rent Matt Cardona anyway. If you want to dress as him. And he kind of didn't really understand, I think, what I was saying. It was a joke, but it was a shot because I swear that's the first thing I thought of. I'm like, who's that goof over in the fucking corner looking like he's like fucking Matt Cardona light. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, he's this guy. He's out of Cali. He worked OVW, blah blah. And then he came up and he introduced himself. Was a nice enough guy and everything. And then hey, we might be moving to Vegas and blah blah blah. And I might have been nicer if I knew Layla Gray was part of AEW, but I didn't know who she was.
yeah,
I don't even think she came over. I think when he introduced himself, so I have no idea who she was.
right.
So it was just like, oh yeah, yeah. When you get to town, let me know. I don't know, big dude, but I have no idea who he is. And look at him now. Can't judge the book by the cover. Not that looking like, Matt Cardona is a bad thing.
Right. Yeah. And so he, goes with the obvious choice of Fred Flintstone. Uh,
I guess he happened to have a Fred Flintstone outfit laying around for maybe doing a Halloween party. So he was like, hey, I'll be Fred Flintstone. Too bad Layla wasn't there. She could have been
yeah.
Wilma.
Yeah.
Maybe she would
Uh,
have won. Maybe she would have won the battle royal.
yeah, possibly. She could have thrown him out. Uh,
And AJ Lee won the battle royal, by the way.
yes, that's right. AJ Lee won the battle royal, of course. Of course. Any other gimmicks that stuck out to you?
Well, our guy Beans with the Travis Scott got the big pop,
Yeah. Yeah, that was great.
But it was good to see, the DX members and Mondo and Robbie and them. They all they really enjoy doing it. So
Yeah.
the Billy Gunn and the X Pac, and we had the Road Dog. So
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. Little Dusty Rhodes in there.
Dusty Rhodes,
Yeah.
Dustin did a good job as Dusty.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun times. And we also saw the return of AJ getting a big response from the audience.
Yes, he had a huge contingent of family and friends come back for his debut. I guess it was a surprise to everyone, but anybody AJ knew.
Right. Yeah. So that's what went down on Devil's Night. Next, though, is coming up is Futureshock on November 8th at 5 p.m., which is this Saturday. And looks like we got some stuff already lining up here.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting tag team. You got Enrique Calderon and Freddie Cordova kind of joined forces, the Arizona guys, and they've been impressive in some singles stuff. Young Money been very impressive. Sky High, they haven't been around for a little bit, so they're back in it. And then we got Live Danger, who I met at the Gabe seminar back on WrestleMania weekend, and
Okay.
they train at the New Japan Dojo, and they've gotten a lot of success recently on the West Coast after they moved out here. And I liked them from when I saw them, and they come out almost like a tribute to the Ultimate Warrior. They got the face paint, they got the bandanas, but they're a very exciting young tag team. And we've been talking since May, about
Oh yeah.
trying to get them on, and they've been
Sure.
busy, and we finally got something for them. And I think this is going to be the match of the night, to be honest with you.
Interesting. Yeah. You also put this one out there as well.
Yes, the Po Boys and Warren Moore. The Po Boys trying to bounce back after a humbling defeat at where they had a shot at the tag team gold, and
Sure.
the Asylum with the mastermind having his mind and his brain transferred into the Jester,
Right.
and we're gonna have a six-man tag.
Yeah. Anything else lined up so far?
Yeah, we got a triple threat women's match. SOS is back, and she'll be taking on someone she defeated in a singles match. Dana Lynn and Taylor York will be
Huh?
in that triple threat match.
Yeah.
So we got that. We're going to also have a variation of our Feast or Famine match, which we've done in the past, which is, the winner of the match gets number 29 and the loser starts at number 1. Well, this is a real Feast or Famine match because the winner gets a spot in the Rumble.
Yeah.
And the loser doesn't get a spot in the Rumble. And Jaden Cole will be in that position.
Okay.
And he will be taking on Jacob Beast.
Okay. Yeah.
So from PCW in Arizona. So,
Yeah.
as I told you, we have a lot of people that
Yeah.
we're trying to squeeze in. And this is one way of at least, eliminating somebody.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Um, and that again goes down on Saturday at the FSW Arena at 5 p.m. And of course, we're leading up to Luck of the Draw on Sunday the 23rd. And finally, this got announced. Cross's words were pretty straightforward at Danny Limelight.
Yeah, Kevin doesn't mince words,
Yeah,
and you know, Danny's always got tricks up his sleeve, so you never know what he's looking to do because he's definitely outmanned, I guess you could say, in
yeah,
that matchup, but he's not showing any lack of confidence in any way. And once that video got posted, I'll tell you what, it seems like a lot of people are very interested in watching it. I think more people are interested in hoping that we'll get to see Cross decimate Danny Limelight
sure.
and shut him up. Maybe break his jaw, keep him quiet for a couple months.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see what happens with that, right?
Yeah, for sure. So that's a marquee matchup right there.
Yeah, that's a huge match, and like we also said, Brittany Brooks is going to be defending the title against Maserati. Uh, you have Transcendence in the match against Suavecitos and the Mariachis for the tag titles. The Unguided and Pretty City Express, and then of course the Battle Royal, uh, or the Rumble, shall we say? And Chris Bay is the special guest host.
Yes. And Chris Bay came out and on his 9th-year anniversary at Devil's
Yeah,
Night and did commentary. So, Chris is really starting to, you know, get involved much, much more. We're very happy to see that, you know.
yeah,
And he just started recently, training some classes, and he was doing some stuff on the on the down low, privately with some friends and Brittany and you know a few of the much more advanced wrestlers,
yeah,
on Mondays. So now it's, agenting some matches and doing some commentary. And now he's going to be the guest host. And, you know, hopefully soon we'll be making that real big announcement. But, that's still a ways away.
sure. Um, right now, we got one, two, three, four announced matches and the Rumble. What's left? Because that's what, one more spot left?
No, that would be the championship match.
The championship match. That's right. Yeah. So
Whoever wrestled in the Rumble. So that show is set. So
yeah,
there'll be some of the younger guys disappointed they'll not be in the Rumble, but we'll probably, without a doubt, do a pre-show, matchup
yeah,
that multi-man tag, to get some of the young kids on in front of a big crowd,
yeah,
and because as I stated about tag teams to get in there, like Greatness and Tenacious, they're gonna have to come in as one, and Sky High
yeah,
would have to come in as one, and Fresco and Watson, and more so just for the fact that doing the numbers 30 isn't enough
right,
and 40 might be too many, but especially time wise when it's a minute a pop, so there's thought processes of what's going on the entire show, that it
right,
might be 45-second intervals
sure,
by shaving off 15 seconds on 30 guys is 450 seconds. So that's 7.5 minutes. That's big, because if we
right,
went to 35 at a minute a pop, that's 35. So you're close, because after that ends, it usually takes another 10 or 15 minutes. We're talking about almost an hour to get through one match. And
Right.
now we got 5 big matches left to now squeeze into the 2 hours.
Yeah.
Well, and if you look at it and you say, hey, 5 matches, 120 minutes, that's 20 minutes a match. Yeah, but getting people in and running packages of the videos and the stuff. And you don't want the show to go 3.5 hours if you don't have to.
Yeah.
So, we like to do that 2:30 to 2:45 window, but
Right.
you can't judge things based on the eliminations. And then, with Cross and then he wants, after matches, he's going to want to come out and talk and greet the crowd. And, and this is going to be the biggest show since the benefit for Bay.
Yeah.
So we want everybody to have their times and enjoy the night. We're going to have a packed house.
Right.
I've had to maneuver the front rows because, we got to keep everything in check. So it's just like, plus there's so much other shit going on at the school and things like that has to be dealt with, of other shows and planning things and what's coming up for Mania and trying to get other things happening. So there's a lot going on.
So what's this whole thing about people claiming to have tickets who don't have tickets to sell?
Well, it's the same thing. All these people that, always try to act like they got something for sale. And we see it all the time, but usually it's one here, one there, and I erase it. But there was literally 3 or 4 different people in a matter of 20 minutes. And it's like, we possess most of the tickets, and then I buy them through the website to make sure. And Silverton did oversell, and now that's why we're having the issue. It was like they were supposed to cut off the front row at 60. I had my 30 for the sponsors, family and friends, whatever. So we would keep that number around 90 because we know we do about 90 or 95. Well, between the tickets I bought and the tickets they sold, that 60 number is now 77. So that's 17 more front rows. And I always give leeway of, 5 to 10. So now it's maneuvering. So like, hey, the Furman crew, they need 9 front row and Brandy needs 3. So Brandy gets her 3. So I had to message George, like, some of the newer folk, like, you'll be in there, and Bradley and Heather, I need to make 3 sit behind you, because I have to eliminate. And I hate the idea of eliminating $10 a ticket on 20 tickets over the course. That's $200. I can't tell somebody who has a ticket that says front row, oh, sorry, you can't sit there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now they're putting me in a bind that it took 10 days from when I told them to pull the front row to pull the front row. Like, come on. But then the thing is, thank God that they didn't put it on the entertainment, because as of 2 days ago, when you go to entertainment, our show isn't there. The only way you can get tickets is through the ticket link.
Okay.
Well, how many people see? Again, I don't even know if we're up there. We had this 8 weeks in advance, yet somehow we're now less than 3 weeks in advance, and the tickets are not available on the website unless you have the secret code, which is the link, which all you should do is hit the button. It's like, come on, bro, get this shit fucking done.
Right.
I made a payment. Hey, we got to get the payment. Okay, I've paid you a week before the show. It says I'm supposed to pay 30 days before the deposit. I'm giving you the whole amount, and it's like still 4.5 weeks away. Like, do your job now. Like, how many thousands of dollars have I given you that you're stressing me over the check? Which is funny, because I gave him the check a month ago, and half the time when I give him a check, it's usually about 2 weeks before, they won't deposit the check somehow through their system till after the show's over. So what's funny is, give me the check. I need the check. Well, they didn't cash the check that I gave them. They actually cashed it, but it was this week. So they sat on the check for 2.5 weeks. So again, it wasn't that important. The show hasn't even happened yet.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, but how about you get the website up so I could sell tickets for this event?
Right.
Because we do have other people that don't know who we are. We had a lot of people buy tickets through the Silverton. That would
Right.
mean there are not a lot of our people. Our people just go through me.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, come on, it's not that hard. Like, I'm going to check now so I can be aggravated. Hey, there it is. We're up. Look at the draw, baby.
Well,
So
now you can go to the
now you know,
website.
which means if it's up there, there's a good chance it's up on the video screens.
Right. Hopefully.
So, we're good with 3 or 4 weeks. We're not good with 7 days. But now that we're like 2.5 weeks away, well, that's a good run. So maybe it's been up for 3 or 4 days, 3 weeks strong of seeing it on the highway, seeing it on Blue Diamond. That only enhances everything we're doing.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Yep. And also the inside of the casino too, when you're
Yeah, now they do that because of all the video walls in there. It looks awesome.
right. Yeah. Which
And
is
it's
cool.
like, it helps you by helping us.
Yeah.
Like, let's work together to do this. Hey, we have a great conversation. Hey, I'd love to get, your 5 shows this month on the books now. Okay, let's go. But,
Yeah.
we can't get them on the books. And then there'd always be a stepping stone of what we need to do to get it out there. Like, yeah, it'd be awesome if you sent, like you did somehow for the first time after all these years, that we were included in your email blasts that you send to everybody. Everybody. So it's not costing you extra to have your Taco Tuesdays and then underneath it a logo of our banner.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, that's helping us. That makes me less agitated about the money I give you. Like, yeah, when you step back and it's like, hey, having 4 weeks on a billboard that's 50 feet long on a highway that gets 100,000 cars a fucking day going on it. Yeah, I might be aggravated about the price and think maybe we should get a better deal, but it's like, maybe the deal ain't so horrible.
Right.
If I'm paying for the lighting guy, at least can we have lights?
Right.
If I'm having the sound guy, I shouldn't have to pull teeth to have the fucking sound guy do his job.
Right.
The sound job isn't plugging in and then letting us handle things. You can do stuff too.
Right.
Simple.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, hopefully, the time frame will generate some more buzz and get some more tickets sold. The next day is Intimate Evening, A Night with Killer Cross on Monday, November 24th at 8 p.m. How's that looking so far?
Yeah, it's looking all right. We're getting people that are coming in from like out of state to come to this. So, we really haven't, gotten the buzz out for, the locals and things like that. Obviously, we'll make the major announcement at the show, about it happening. But yeah, we got 4 people coming from, we got a pair coming from Jersey and a pair from Florida that are flying in because they met Kevin before and think he's one of the best people they've ever met in wrestling. And having this opportunity made them buy a ticket to just come.
Yeah.
We got a guy coming in just for the show, and now he's trying to adjust his schedule to come because he found out about this after he got his ticket. He's literally flying in for the show from Jersey, after he met him one time and felt he was an inspiration to him
Sure.
and wanted to come out to the show. So it was a homecoming, and that Kevin came from here, bought a ticket, and basically was flying out Monday night.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah.
So definitely adding Kevin to the show is definitely a major plus.
Sure. Sure. And, an opportunity to, hear Kevin talk and ask questions is something that I think a lot of fans want to do, especially because, Kevin won't hold back from talking
Oh,
about,
not at all.
yeah, which, something that a lot of people are very interested in hearing what went on, especially in the last couple months. So,
Yeah, yeah. Now, talk about striking when the iron's hot, boy.
yeah, absolutely.
We've been fortunate. Even the last time when we got him, when he had gotten released, we were the first show that he
Right,
did in that situation when he got released. And then,
right,
we were fortunate enough to where, because he pushed for it, wrestled in the main event at the Benefit for Bay.
right,
And as much as everybody came out for Chris, I guarantee you anybody on the fence of whether they need to take off from work and having Kevin on the show really put it over the top. I'll be honest with you.
sure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And there's a lot of stuff coming up here. Besides Future Shock and Luck of the Draw and The Night with Kevin, you have another Future Shock then on December 6th and on December 7th. The Future Stars of Women wrestling show is going to take place. And then Seasons Beatings on the 20th and the Countdown to Midnight on
Yeah,
December
we've been
31st.
fortunate. We got a good amount of people that women who've contacted us, putting together the idea of a intergender tag tournament,
Yeah,
possibly with a championship belt, or kind of maybe a trophy thing or whatever, because getting things in time is a
right,
very difficult situation. A, designing the belt, B, getting the right people to do it, and C,
right,
getting it in on time. But we already know from what we've seen. We got Luke Curtis and Layla Gray. We got Remy and Maz, Dante and Gypsy. There's something for both of them now that they lost the belts.
right,
Uh, that there, Zamaya and Koa from the MK Army, uh,
right,
real life boyfriend and girlfriend, Davion and Dana Lynn. So there's definitely, people there that we can mix and match with. And then it's, some of the people that we've talked to, for the women's show. Maya World has been signed to come back for that one. And she hit me up thinking, hey, if we're doing the intergender, that she's got a partner that she tags with a lot in Texas that she would be interested in doing. We're talking about a 12 team tournament
yeah,
and at least 8. And we know we got close to 8 already. So, plus just mixing and matching of people that are around FSW that would definitely be something. Brittany already threw her hat in the ring for that one with Taylor Kingsley, a good friend of hers that she trained with out of Arizona back in
yeah,
the day. So a lot of them have friends that they train with and things like that. That, man, they'd love the opportunity for a cool little intergender tag tournament, since it is pretty popular.
yeah. Yeah, that would be fun. And you know, it's something that you don't see a lot of places doing that style, like a tournament, and it'd be a fun little thing to see happen.
Yeah, I think if we do it, we're going to start because we're going to have an intergender tag match anyway at the women's show, like we did the last time. Well, we
Right.
can add a second one, and that could be the first round, two
Yeah.
matches. And then once that happens, maybe we have another tournament match at Countdown to Midnight.
Right.
And, that's how we break it down. It's a little easier to break down, a 12-team tournament if the first round is taking place over a different amount of days,
Right.
because now you're down to 6 teams. And
Yeah.
now at the 6 teams, you can do 3 matches. And then the finals becomes a triple threat.
Right.
So now you could do it at the next women's show after that. And now you're only taking up 4 of the matches. And now you can still go with 4 women's matches and the women's championship or whatever. And now you got to your 8 matches and you're good.
Yeah. Sure. Sure. That makes a lot of sense. Anything else going on right now, Joe, as we kind of look at what's coming up?
Yeah, there's some things going on, but unfortunately, there's some things that I can't discuss, and I like to discuss. So it's just issues that we've been dealing with. We had to move the LFC event that we're doing that we
Right.
did, and there's just been issues with that that we've come across that all of a sudden people seem to be getting involved in, and it's becoming irritating to say the least. And it's just more added stress, when you're trying to deal with things and trying to get things done that you've done for 16 years. When all of
Right.
a sudden it's like, well, I don't think you're supposed to be doing this, and then we can't do that, and it's like, okay, well, everything's a gray area now, and now all of a sudden everybody's like paying attention to things. And as I said, it seemed like maybe because of the popularity of WrestleMania and them coming back, that now the higher ups are paying a little bit more attention to wrestling.
Yeah.
And it's not always a good thing. It's a good thing in a lot of cases, but, I can guarantee you that almost every other company that supposedly is running doesn't follow the rule book. We got our licenses and things like that.
Yeah.
And, it's just having to spend more time having to deal with things instead of just trying to figure everything out, because I got enough things I got to deal with. So,
Sure.
so right now there's just some situations that we're trying to rectify, sooner than later.
Yeah. That makes sense. All right. Well, we can keep this a little short this week. Any final thoughts as we wrap up here?
Yeah, we're looking forward to, Futureshock on Saturday. Again, it is a student showcase. That's all it is. It's family and friends. We do not really promote it to
Right.
the regular fan base. They want to come, fantastic. They're more than welcome. But this is a show where you're seeing, and again, as wrestling fans, I get it. You're seeing a lot of talent who have had less than 10 matches, but this is the way to get them on. We want them to be ready for you guys, the hardcore fans. And you might see some in a pre-show, or you might see some in some battle royals and things like that. But this is where they get to really, go out there, and we have a match, and they get to really work a match.
Yeah.
Working a battle royal isn't really working a match. You're in, you're out. You get to see what it's like to perform in front of people. But this is your chance, because in training, all these guys are always having practice matches. But
Right.
how many times do they do a practice match and shit gets fucked up? All right, let's start it over. hey, let's pick it up from here. Can't do that in front of people. And we prefer they do it in front of their family and their friends because they see their cousin, their brother, their son, their daughter all of a sudden do a Hurricane Rana.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, I can't believe you can do this. Like
Yeah.
in regular wrestling, it's like, you do a headlock takeover. You get to see the newbies because they pop for, and again, it's a great experience because if you do pretty decent, man, they're loving you.
Yeah. Sure.
On a regular show, if you can barely do a headlock takeover and it ain't very good, man, they're going to be those you fucked up chants. They don't care if it's your first match or your 100th match. If you fucked up, you fucked up.
Right.
A family member is usually not screaming you fucked up.
Right.
Unless it's like an older brother who's jealous because you're getting to wrestle and he never did,
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
so this is a great opportunity, and it's a great opportunity to get people who aren't fans of wrestling to come watch a wrestling show.
Yeah.
And then maybe they're like, "Oh wow, this is pretty cool. This is different than on TV." Because again, the people are personable, they're right there. It's 10 feet away from you. Even in the bleachers, it's 30 feet away from you. It's so close and impactful that, I'm pretty sure we've made fans from people who only came because they wanted to give $15 to support their friend.
Right.
And, we try to provide a great show for them. We put some of our higher end talent on there just to help work with the younger guys. And that's why you see a Sharp and a Watson and Sky High, and you'll see people who are around, and you got Sugar Brown, and you got Chris Bay, and you got Remy Marcel, and you got Cody, and they're working with these younger guys, trying to make them have the best possible match. Because all these younger guys, they have ideas, and they have these great ideas that a lot of times they aren't so great, and they got to be
Yeah.
talked down from. They're trying to do 100 things because they want to show off to not only the family and friends, but they want to show off to me to say, hey, I'm worthy of being on the luck of the draw match and a rumble, and I'm worthy of being utilized much more than I am. So they
Yeah.
think by wrestling and doing 100 moves in a match is the way to do it. And it's like, no, calm down. The way you do it is by doing your job. What is your job today? Your job is to make that person look good. Your job is to get a little bit of a comeback. Your job is to look strong in a certain situation. And that takes, unfortunately, a lot of time, practice, and work.
Right.
And, so this becomes the first payoff for a lot of these guys and girls is wrestling at the show at Futureshock.
Right.
So, that, and we've been fortunate enough where part of it is also what's your value? Why are you going to get booked on a show in California when there's 8,000 people trying to get that one spot? What makes you that person? Well, you're from FSW. Future Stars of Wrestling has a good reputation. Oh,
Right.
well, you're driving up with 4 guys on the show that company respects Future Stars of Wrestling. So you're driving up with the Suavecitos and Dante King and Gypsy Mac, and now they have an extra body, and there's 6 people to choose from, and somebody they respect in the locker room from FSW or outside FSW, because we have plenty of great talent there. Same thing in Arizona, that if Class or Reno or Koa or Zamaya or somebody says to Dom, hey, this person is really good, or Graves or Hammerstone, guess what? They're going to be on the show. Bodie's now on their shows.
Right.
There's, it's a pipeline, and it's doing good business. Number one, being humble, doing what is needed of you. And that's how you get utilized, and that's how you spread the wings and get there. And that's how you fly the flag of FSW. Like Santino Brothers, like PCW. They fly the flags. And that's why we utilize a lot of that talent. The whole state of Arizona now with Arizona Wrestling Federation. Because, hey, Brittany trained there. And then we used SOS and Fallen Gray. And now Ozzy G comes up and the Gabe Roca kid. So now it isn't just the PCW guys.
Right.
And as I said, it's like we're the only wrestling company where you can see guys from all over Arizona wrestle each other that they could never do in Arizona.
Yeah.
Which is pretty hilarious. Like you'll never see Transcendence versus the Pretty City Express because of the competing companies that they work for. But you'll see it at FSW.
Yeah.
But you have to be good enough in your home state of Arizona to be worthy of being put in that match in Las Vegas.
Sure. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, a lot of exciting things going on. And, again, this weekend, check out Futureshock on Saturday.
Title Match Network.
Title Match Network. You can check out everything that we've mentioned if you're not in town, or if you just can't get out to the FSW arena or to Silverton, you can always check it out on Title Match. All right. Until next time, everybody, have a great week. Thanks for tuning in, and happy wrestling.